One of my favorite therapeutic workshops that I offer is called First Love Yourself. And I feel it's essential for people to first love themselves and to have a healthy dose of self esteem and self care and gratitude practices. And unfortunately, too often, many of us find fault with ourselves. And that's why one of the books that I'm going to be choosing to read from today is Marianne Williamson's A Woman's Worth. And this is not a book that I read from in my workshops. However, I do have other passages from Marianne Williamson's other books. And for those of you who don't know, Marianne Williamson is a top notch self help guru. Not only has she led many um, workshops and major talks across the world, but she has authored many books, and she actually ran for president of the United States a few years back. But that has nothing to do with this book. But what it does have to do with is the unlimited potential that we each can have should we choose to accept whatever faults we have and move on, move forward, use those as a jumping board or as a launch pad. Anyway, I'm going to read a short passage from her book. And again, it's A Woman's Worth. And the reason why it's geared toward women is because women oftentimes we scrutinize ourselves. We compare ourselves to what we see on TV or in magazines, and that is not good. Marianne says women can be masters at negative programming. We constantly tell ourselves what is not right: our figure, our hair, our relationship, our job, the weather, someone else's behavior. Sometimes we do this because we have legitimate complaints. At other times, we criticize simply because it is the turn of our minds to do so. Every time we do, regardless of why, we attack ourselves. We are programming our subconscious, the part of the mind that hears what we tell it and then creates more of the same to manufacture the life we're describing. And then, magicians that we are, lo and behold, we have a new, even more negative life the following day. And that's an example of what I do in my therapeutic workshops. I have one coming up on Saturday in Austin, Texas, but I also offer these remotely via Zoom. And I have people go back into their childhood sometimes and identify what we tell ourselves that are not true, such as, oh, I'm not coordinated, or oh, I have bad hair, or I'm overweight. And then I have them rewrite a picture. Anyway, I'm going to continue reading from Marianne's book. And she says, someone once gave me a coffee mug on which is printed, entertain, no negativity. If only I could be so strong. As 1992 was drawing to a close and I gathered with friends at the approach of midnight, I scribbled on a piece of paper, quote, in 1993, I will repeat no negative stories, end quote. We are not a little powerful. We are enormously powerful. Every time we say a negative word, we lay the mental plans for negative things. There is no escaping this law of the mind. As we think, so it shall be. Here's another helpful hint, and it's also one that I encourage all the time with my clients. Choose an affirmation that fits you, your hopes, and your desires. Try to stay away from specifics and concentrate instead on the woman you want to be, or the man you want to be, or the person you want to be. You could say, I am a glorious child of God. I am joyful, serene, positive, and loving. Write it on several pieces of paper. Put them in your house or tape them to the dashboard of your car. The mind is more powerful than are any external conditions. If you repeat your affirmation 10 times a day, particularly in combination with meditation, your life will change. Spiritual techniques cannot work. The question is not whether they work, but whether or not we actually do them. If we remind ourselves often of the woman we want to be, then the woman or man who has been masquerading as us all these years will breathe his or her last breath and give us back our life. On the days when I do these things, and having turned 40 myself, and again, this was written quite a while ago, I have finally learned how important it is to do them all. I feel good. On the days when I don't do them, I don't feel well. And I must admit that there are often days during the month when nothing makes me happy. And that's it. There are times and conditions when, despite our exercises, we continue to cry and we continue to feel pain. I'm talking here about the broad strokes, the vast majority of our days. Try those things: meditation, prayer, yoga, affirmations, and the fabric of your life will become more beautiful and peaceful. In most of my therapeutic workshops, I do incorporate affirmations or rewrite um, negative history into something positive. I'm just going to read a little bit more from this book. At times, we can find sustenance in a spiritual retreat, a vacation, a time off. It's important to have the chance to get away from it all. But we must remember that the serenity and peace a retreat provides should not be limited to our time away from home. We must commit ourselves to incorporating the conditions that foster peace and serenity into our daily lives. And that's one of the reasons why one of the chapters in my book is about the Sabbath and taking concepts from the Sabbath and incorporating them into your lifestyle. So I highly recommend once a week, turn off all of your devices, refrain from going in a car, and just use that day for your own personal retreat and also quality time with friends or family. And if you haven't read my book already, please check it out. My book is called From the Boxing Ring to the Ashram. And today's book read was from Marianne Williamson's A Woman's Worth